In this video, we're looking at an organelle called a chloroplast. And the first thing you might look at is this cell, looking for the chloroplasts, and there's a lot of stuff in here, but there are no chloroplasts. And the reason for that is that this is an animal cell. And chloroplasts are organelles that are associated with photosynthesis. It's where the photosynthesis occurs. And for that reason, they are non-existent in animal cells because animals can't do photosynthesis. So if we look at a plant cell, here we see the chloroplasts. Chloroplasts are unique to plants and certain kinds of algae. Basically, if the organism can do photosynthesis, or if it's a photosynthetic organism, then it has chloroplasts. So here's a photo of some actual chloroplasts. You can see the plant cell with the thick cell wall here. And inside the plant cell, it's full of these chloroplasts. Chloroplasts are characteristically green in color, and in fact that's why plants are green. I'll talk about that a little more in a bit. But chloroplasts are these individual organelles inside the plant cell, and if we look at one of them, they look like this. A bright green color, there's a striated texture, and they're full of chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a molecule, and it's a molecule that does a really good job of absorbing light. And the whole point of a chloroplast is to use light energy to do photosynthesis and to absorb the light energy and save it for photosynthesis. So, if we look at a diagram of a chloroplast here, and we think about the light coming in from the sun, you probably know that light from the sun contains all the different colors of the rainbow. And when that light enters a chloroplast, the molecule chlorophyll does a really good job of absorbing red and yellow and violet and all these colors except for green. The green light is reflected back from the chlorophyll molecule, back from the chloroplasts, and so this is what comes to our eyes. So when we look at a plant that's full of chloroplasts and full of chlorophyll, we see the green reflected light. And that's why plants look green, is because they're full of chloroplasts. So anything that is containing chlorophyll or a photosynthetic plant or photosynthetic algae is usually green because the chloroplasts and the chlorophyll in the chloroplasts has absorbed all the other wavelengths of light. In the fall, as the temperatures decline, the concentration of chlorophyll in certain plants also drops, and so they are less green. They lose their green color, and you start to see some reds and oranges and yellows coming from other molecules other than chlorophyll that are in the plant. So chloroplasts are extremely important to plant and algae cells because it's where the photosynthesis actually occurs. The photosynthesis process requires chlorophyll, which is in the chloroplast. So photosynthesis actually takes place in the chloroplasts. And photosynthesis, of course, is the process by which plants can make their own food. They take in carbon dioxide and water as reactants, and through the photosynthesis process, they produce a certain kind of sugar called glucose, which is their food. They can produce their own food, and oxygen gas is the other product. This process is an endothermic reaction, which means it needs to absorb energy for the reaction to occur. There needs to be a continuous input of energy for photosynthesis to occur. Well, the plant gets this energy from light. And like I just talked about, the light energy is absorbed by the chloroplasts. So the chloroplasts have stored all this light energy, except for green, which they reflected, and they've stored all this light energy which they can now use for the photosynthesis process. And this isn't just important for plants and algae, it's important for us too, because all the food that humans eat can be traced back to photosynthesis. If you think about the food chain and going backwards, almost all life on Earth is solar powered from photosynthesis. And at some point in the food chain, you're going to eat a plant or you're going to eat something that ate a plant that got its energy from photosynthesis. Also, oxygen is really important for humans. We like to have some oxygen in the atmosphere. The Earth would not have nearly as much oxygen in its atmosphere if not for all the plants and algae that have existed for millennia producing oxygen through the photosynthetic process. And none of this could happen without the chloroplast. So the chloroplast is an extremely important organelle to all life on Earth.